Now, it's not that I didn't want to make this, it's just I didn't know how. It's just such a weird shaped machine and I didn't really know where to start. So I did the next logical thing and I went to my local 99-cent store and bought as much junk as possible. I went ahead and looked through all the junk and tried to find what I could possibly use. I eventually settled on these little peach cups and I figured they would make a nice base for our machine. However, it was kind of lacking something, so I figured if I added some of these little red cheap juice containers, it would make a perfect base. I began cutting the soft plastic to size and began assembling them in a shape that I thought kind of resembled the shape of the machine. I put those aside and found these foam paint brushes also at the store. Out of the pile, one stood out to me and looked like it could be a perfect fit for the base of our machine. I then got these two barbecue scrubby things and cut them up into a bunch of little pieces. I threw away each end and got just the middle. I did my best to secure those with hot glue to each side of the base. I then got a ping pong ball and spray painted it gray. I then got a small cup and filled it with white paint. I then dipped the ping pong ball inside the white paint, and I'm doing it with this method because this will provide the most clean, straight lines on a ball that I could possibly paint by hand. And once that was dry, I went ahead and secured it between each beam of the base, which I also painted gray. I then got a few different shapes and sizes of zip ties, painted them gray and glued them to the base. These are just all the little small accessories, so there's no particular way I made these, I just kind of bent and glued them into a proper shape. Then I went ahead and got a pen and dissected it, and it has to be a pen with a spring in it. So I got that spring, threw the rest of the pen away, and then got a small pin and then cut it in half so I just had the small top part. Covered that in glue and then connected that and the spring from the pen together. I then scoured for a button, and I figured this small gray button would do the trick. So I added some glue to that and used that as the base to make our little zappy thingy. And while I was still in my button container, I went ahead and got a few shapes that I thought I might need. I then brought out the trusty toothpicks and cut a bunch of these small little nubs off, and I realized that I could make these small little gauges with a toothpick and those buttons. I then got a Lego and made a little Lego lollipop with a toothpick, and while I had my Legos out, I got these two small little corner pieces. I painted everything to a proper color, so mostly black, and then here comes the fun part, attaching all the accessories to the actual base of the machine. I tend to save this part for last, mainly because these pieces can be fragile because they're only made with hot glue, so I like to wait till all the big portions are done, but this is honestly the funnest part, because you can see it all really come together. And then, of course, the not funnest part, the painting part. I personally don't like painting because I suck at it, and I feel like it could really either make or break the project. But for this case, I always seem to come out happy regardless of what it looks like. So I went ahead and just added some small details, and eventually when I added all the paint that I needed, here's what we got. However, it might look finished, but it still needs to be branded. So I went ahead and printed a reference picture from online, and just using a small glue stick, glued that into our little blue button in the middle. And that does complete the machine. However, what would it be without a little bit element 115? So I went outside, got a proper rock, and brushed it with a little bit of that element 115, aka acrylic paint. Then went ahead and glued it to the middle base, and there it is. That is a whole entire machine. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want me to make next.